Thanks, Sophie. Hello, you're watching Wales Today. I'm Nick Savini. The headlines. A convicted criminal from Romania is arrested trying to enter the UK at the port of Holyhead. We go behind the scenes with officials trying to clamp down on illegal migration.
This three-day crackdown is targeting roads, airports and ports like this one. They're trying to stop the people entering illegally and disrupt the people smugglers trying to take advantage.
Also tonight, the murder trial of a 40-year-old woman from Talbot Green. Here's the details of the 999 call made moments after she was shot. The cost of childcare. One mother tells us she moved from Wales to England, where a more generous childcare offer kicks in after just 9 months.
The way to afford a family of 2 children was to move to England, which cost £15,000 for the move, including solicitors and stamp duty and everything, but overall was going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than trying to pay childcare in Wales.
It's the biggest win of her career, and it was on home soil. We speak to Mimi Zhu about building on her victory at the Wrexham Open. And you could call it the ultimate train set. A world record model railway rolls into Aberystwyth with a celebrity train buff behind it.
Obviously, this was a holiday home when I was a kid, Aberystwyth. I used to run the steam trains here back in the 70s and 80s. But I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be sitting today in here with my model railway.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a special report from the port of Holyhead, where we've joined a UK border force operation targeting illegal migrants and criminal gangs trying to enter the UK. Officers say it is not just about people. There have been more than 220 immigration cases so far this year at the port, but also illegal goods and cash. In one case, more than £11,000 worth of suspected illegal money was found hidden in the cabin of a lorry. Our Westminster correspondent, Amelia Belly, reports.
When you think of illegal migration, images of small boats might come to mind, rather than the ferry from Dublin. But the UK government says people are also trying to get into Britain illegally through ports like Holyhead. Operations like this one are trying to stop them. Within minutes of us arriving, this happened.
You're under arrest for knowingly entering the UK in breach of deportation order.
So our officers have encountered a Romanian national this morning who's tried to gain entry into the country. When those officers have performed checks on our systems, they've found out that he has a deportation order. That deportation order has been imposed because he's been convicted of criminal offences in our UK justice system and was meant to leave the country. He was removed. So he's tried to exploit the common travel area this morning to come into the country undetected. However, we've got Operation Combi in force this morning and more officers here than normal, and he's been encountered. On the back of that, he's been arrested criminally and he's going to go to custody.
Andrei Tosin later pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to a year in prison and will be deported after that. This three-day crackdown is targeting roads, airports and ports like this one in the so-called common travel area, the area through which British and Irish citizens can travel without a passport. They're trying to stop the people entering illegally and disrupt the people smugglers trying to take advantage.
Right, driver, can I get your passport or your driving licence? What are you using for ID at the moment, please?
As well as searches by more than 300 officers up and down the border, international partners in Albania and Ireland are helping too.
As we are at a port, it's a mixed bag of things that we find here. There's absolutely an organised crime element that seeks to exploit the common travel area that use Holyhead. Drugs, booze, alcohol, tobacco are commodities, and unfortunately people are also commodities. So there is a nexus point between that and what you do see in organised crime space specifically. People diversify from those commodities into people.
The result, 51 arrests across the UK. In Holyhead, this lorry was among the seizures after the discovery of concealed areas in the driving seat and the airbag container of the steering wheel, stuffed with over £11,000 in suspected criminal cash. But some say this is just the tip of the iceberg.
What people need to remember is that we have this common travel area between the UK and Ireland, which means that it is perfectly logical to fly into, say, Dublin and get a train north and then get a ferry to Holyhead. It is not that difficult, and that is why the Border Force is bringing in checks here. But it is absolutely logical to try and come in that way.
As of June, irregular arrivals to the UK were up by more than a quarter on the previous year at 49,000 people, putting operations like Combi into perspective. This is an enormous problem to tackle. Is this going to be enough?
Yeah, this is one step that's delivering action. In 14 months, we're trying to turn around what's been 14 years of failure. But we've had 14 months at it. We are starting to see those changes, but I appreciate the public want to see very visible changes, and that's what we've got to deliver.
But operations on the ground demonstrate how complicated it will be to do that as the pressure mounts to produce greater results.
Well, Millie joins me now down the line from Westminster. So, Millie, you say it's going to be complicated. How likely is it that the UK government will be able to bring illegal migration down?
Well, it is complicated indeed. And you heard Alex Norris say that the government has only had 14 months to get to grips with some of these issues. Now, in that time, they've announced a slew of policies, whether it's a new proposed powers for border officials, that one-in, one-out returns deal with France that's supposed to be a deterrent, or operations like the one that we just saw in that package. But despite that, the figures of people this year entering the UK illegally are up on last year. And if you want to get a sense of the pressure that the Home Office is under, just take a look at today's headlines. A critical report by a committee of MPs saying that billions of pounds of taxpayers' money has been squandered on a private accommodation, asylum accommodation contracts. Now, the UK government would say that these contracts and many of the issues they're facing are legacies of the UK Conservative government, and they are determined to get these figures down, to get control of them. But these issues at the border are interlocking, they're complicated. Solving one of them would be difficult. Doing them all simultaneously could be impossible.
So much pressure, but they don't have much time, do they, to get this under control?
No, certainly not, and especially not when it comes to Welsh voters who will be looking at their policies ahead of the Senedd election in just 6 months' time. Now, despite the fact that immigration, the borders are not devolved, and despite the fact that migration into Wales is lower than other parts of the UK, we got a flavour in the Caerphilly by-election of just how important these issues are to voters, whether they're on the left or the right, whether they're pro or anti more migration. And so whatever the UK Labour government does in the next few months is going to have a very big impact on the campaign.
Indeed. Amelia Belly at Westminster, thank you very much. The farming union NFU Cymru says it supports stronger TB controls announced by the Welsh Government, which will be implemented from January. From the new year, cattle whose previous TB tests have been inconclusive will face lifetime movement restrictions. The Rural Affairs Secretary, Hugh Rankin-Davies, says the current system risks cattle with undetected infection being moved and spreading TB to other herds. A jury has heard that a woman shouted that she had been shot before collapsing in the living room of a flat. Joanne Penny died on the 9th of March, minutes after the shooting on the doorstep of the property in Talbot Green in Rhondda and Taf. Stephen Fairclough is at Cardiff Crown Court for us tonight. So, Steve, what did we hear about the events surrounding the shooting?
We've heard today from someone who was in the flat at the time of the shooting. Suzanne Day recorded a video interview with the police on the day after the shooting, and that's been played to the jury in evidence today. And Ms. Day said that there was a bang on the door and that Joe had gone down, and then she screamed that she had been shot. She said she came across the living room and fell onto the settee. Suzanne Day said that she shouted to other occupants of the flat to call 999. She said, I was holding Joe, and then she took a breath and she slid off the settee onto her knees, and I was still holding her. Ms. Day said that when she was on her knees, that Joe took a large breath and she thought that she was going to be okay. But then Ms. Day said that when she tried to lay Joanne Penny on her back as requested by the call handler from the 999 ambulance service and initially tried to carry out CPR, she could tell that Joanne was not breathing. She said, I kept telling the woman on the phone that she was gone.
And we also heard more about this 999 call.
Yes, the jury heard that the first words that were said on the call were "someone has been shot," and the call handler attempted to find out how seriously Joanne Penny had been injured. There were several voices which were speaking in the background of the call, discussing what had happened. One voice said, "Is the door locked?" Another said, "She's gone to the door and there was a gunshot." Voices said it was unknown if the attacker was nearby and that people should stay away from the window in the flat. One person said they shot her to death. She's not breathing. She answered the door and she got shot. Now, Marcus Huntley from Cardiff has admitted murder. Jordan Mills-Smith from Cardiff denies murder. Joshua Gordon, Melissa Quayle-Dashper, Christina Genova and Tony Porter, who are all from Leicester, deny murder, and they also deny being part of an organised crime gang. The trial is continuing.
Stephen Fairclough at Cardiff Crown Court, thank you very much. A mother from Monmouthshire has told us she's moved across the border to Gloucestershire so she can access the more generous childcare offer there. Even though the move cost her £15,000, Robin Lloyd says it was still worth it because of the savings she'll make. In England, working parents can receive up to 30 hours a week of free childcare support from 9 months. But in Wales, more limited free childcare is only available for children over the age of 2. The Welsh Government says its support is being expanded sustainably, prioritising disadvantaged communities, as our education and family correspondent Bethan Lewis has been finding out in Merthyr Tydfil.
Many families are counting the costs of childcare, and funded hours through government schemes help ease those financial pressures.
It's a massive help because we don't need to worry at all about childcare fees.
When her child was 2, Grace was able to benefit from 12.5 hours of free care per week.
I just think it's all round, it helps, and it's so beneficial to have this programme for Merthyr, for everyone living here to have the opportunity for their children to go into childcare at such a young age, really, without any stress about fees.
Free childcare hours for 2-year-olds in Wales is being rolled out through the Flying Start programme, with areas added to it gradually. Now, the Merthyr Tydfil local authority is the first to be able to offer a place for all 2-year-olds right across the county. Anna too is a fan of the scheme and wishes more could benefit.
It's been incredible just for him to be able to have just extra time with other children of his own age. It's such a shame that there are swathes of our country that don't benefit from that, and children miss out on so much.
The Welsh Government says it's reached around 52% of 2-year-olds so far, with an extra 4,000 due to become eligible in the next phase of expansion. Free childcare in Wales starts at 2. Since the start of September, working parents in England have been eligible for 30 hours a week of free care from when their children are 9 months. One mum of a 1-year-old who's recently left Monmouthshire for the Forest of Dean over the border says they moved to afford a bigger family.
I lived in Chepstow on the border, and I realised that I would be paying almost double my mortgage each month in childcare in Wales. But I could see England out of my window, and the people in the houses over there would be having financial support from when their child was 9 months old. We were very cautious about the whole process, but eventually decided that the way to afford a family of 2 children was to move to England, which cost £15,000 for the move, including solicitors and stamp duty and everything, but overall was going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than trying to pay childcare in Wales.
The Welsh Government says it's expanding childcare programmes by prioritising disadvantaged areas and by making sure the provision is sustainable.
Should we put them in there?
In Merthyr, the council says it's made sure there's a place for every 2-year-old.
The challenges have been ensuring that we've got the sufficiency of childcare provision for parents and children who are eligible, but also ensuring that we've got a workforce, that we've got a suitably qualified and experienced workforce.
In these early years, many parents face substantial childcare costs. And who gets what support and where has become an increasingly contentious issue.
Bethan Lewis reporting there. You're watching Wales Today, still to come before 7. You'd need a big attic to hold one of these. We take a look at the 200-foot model railway, which is rolled into Aberystwyth for the next week.
And the changeable weather is set to continue this week. Sunshine and showers, some rain and stronger winds as well, with a mild and breezy Halloween. I'll have the latest forecast.
Now, Mary Krieg is a familiar face to many on S4C, appearing on the TV programmes Heno and Prynhawn Da. But in 2023, the 41-year-old mum of three was diagnosed with breast cancer, which then spread to her liver and lymph nodes. In a documentary for S4C, she describes having to battle for care. And she's been speaking to our reporter, Meleri Williams.
Helo na, shwd I chi gyd heddi. Croeso ato ni.
She's more than comfortable in front of a camera. But taking the lens behind the scenes was a brave step for presenter Mary Krieg.
Oh, chi'n iawn? Yeah, bore da, yeah.
1 in 2 of us will have diagnosis of cancer, 1 in 7 breast cancer, and apparently metastatic breast cancer is the biggest killer in women between 40 and 59 in the UK. It's when the cancer, in my case the breast, has spread to other parts of the body. So I felt a duty, really, to raise awareness about metastatic disease. Good. Not often.
Yes. We see you going from one scan to another, having some bad news about the cancer returning.
Beth sydd yn gwynebu fi, beth sydd ymlaen i. Just anodd.
When you're making a personal documentary, you have to be honest. And I thought, well, yes, we will have to continue filming because this is the reality of living with stage 4 breast cancer.
And during this filming period, you learned that your sister, Lisa, had also been diagnosed with breast cancer. And she had to fight, didn't she, for screening quickly, for treatment. Have you been faced with a similar situation?
Yes, unfortunately. I have had to battle and challenge and been on the phone constantly. I've felt I've had to be a production manager on my care. And that's the main shock I've had after and following my diagnosis. I thought, you hear the word cancer, they're on it, you will be treated. Yes, I have been treated, but I have had to fight to have a few operations, and I'm still fighting now and hustling to have some scans.
Hywel Dda University Health Board said it's always open to receiving feedback and discussing a patient's treatment to offer reassurance, it said, and consider alternatives. It added that it sees every patient as an individual and does its best to offer them the care they need to support them on the road to recovery.
The documentary is Mary Krieg, the mother, the wife, the daughter, the sister, the friend, and obviously the presenter, which is a big part of my life. But it was very important to be honest, and hopefully people will appreciate that.
And you can watch the S4C documentary Mary Krieg One Day at a Time on BBC iPlayer. Some rugby news now, and Wales number 8, Taulupe Faletau, is out of the autumn internationals due to a knee injury he sustained playing for Cardiff against Edinburgh on Saturday. The British and Irish Lions forward has been replaced by uncapped Ollie Cracknell. Wales' opening test of the November series is against Argentina in less than 2 weeks. On to tennis now, and after winning the biggest title of her career, newly crowned Wrexham Open champion Mimi Zhu says she has her sights set on winning a Grand Slam and becoming world number 1. The 18-year-old from Swansea defeated fellow British teenager Mika Stojsavljevic in the final. Sanjana Idnani reports.
A triumphant moment in what has been a breakthrough year for Mimi Zhu. The Welsh teenager secured the biggest victory of her career, winning the Wrexham Open in straight sets.
Winning does really help with your confidence, and it's just kind of I haven't really looked too much at the rankings, if I'm being completely honest, but I feel like I've competed really well this week, and just played each match as it came, and I'm just so happy about the result.
It's been a great boost for Zhu, who started the tournament with a singles world ranking of 309 and has now gone up to 269, a career high. But the win also had a personal element.
It's like a bit of a full circle moment because I remember winning my first tournament in Wrexham when I was 18 under Welsh champions, and to, you know, yesterday get the win, my biggest title yet. It honestly means so much to me.
And she wasn't finished there. Later in the day, the 18-year-old teamed up with Ella McDonald to win the doubles title. It's been a big year for Mimi. Earlier this year, she made her senior Wimbledon debut, losing the first round to British #1 Emma Raducanu. She wants to follow in the former US Open champion's footsteps.
Obviously, the ultimate dream is, you know, win a slam, hopefully be world #1, all of that stuff. But I think, you know, I'm really enjoying. I enjoy playing the sport, and I think I'm really lucky.
There's no rest for Zhu, who will be competing in Glasgow this week. Each tournament, she hopes, will bring her a step closer to that ultimate tennis goal.
Takes it all in her stride, doesn't she? Now, if you find yourself in Aberystwyth this week, you are in for a treat, especially if the world of train sets is your thing. That's because the world's largest portable model railway has arrived in the town. Perhaps surprisingly, the man behind it is the legendary record producer, Pete Waterman. We sent our reporter Craig Duggan to meet him and to take to the controls himself on what must be the ultimate train set at the Vale of Rheidol Steam Railway.
It's huge and probably wouldn't fit in your attic. The model is over 200 feet long and the total length of the multiple tracks is around 3/4 of a kilometre. Last year it set a new Guinness record for the largest portable model railway in the world. It's run by a group called Railnuts. Their president is Pete Waterman, legendary music producer and model railway fanatic.
It's special for me because obviously this was a holiday home when I was a kid, Aberystwyth, and you know, I used to run the steam trains here back in the 70s and 80s for British Rail. But I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be sitting today in here with my model railway. So it's a dream come true, and it's an amazing place.
We know about another music legend, Rod Stewart, who loves his model railways. Yeah. Since you set the world record, any banter with Rod?
Well, Rod was on a Radio 2 programme telling him, I've got a bigger one than his. So, you know, I can't say more than that. There's Rod, there's Jules Holland, there's Eddie Izzard, there's quite a few people, Steven Spielberg. And yes, when we were together, we only talk trains.
In amazing detail, the model reproduces a main line near London and includes stations at Watford and Milton Keynes, much of it made with 3D printers. David has family near Watford, and when he sent them a close-up photo of the model, his brother-in-law thought he was on his way to visit.
So I come and pick you up with I didn't know you were in Watford Junction, but I said, I'm not. This is a model railway, Pete Waterman's model railway, here in Aberystwyth. And he was amazed how realistic it looked.
This is only the second time that this world record-breaking model railway has been on public display, so it's a real treat for anyone who can get here to Aberystwyth to see it. And on top of that, using one of these tablets and Wi-Fi technology, you also get a chance to drive the trains. It's a lot of fun, but there's more to it too.
We are here to inspire people to go away and make stuff. Whether it's Lego, Airfix kits, model railways, dolls' houses, doesn't matter. We want to get people building things, get them off their tablets, their screens, and just get something physical done, because that's the future of our engineering.
The Railnuts say there's things to learn here while you play with trains. Pete Waterman and the huge model will be at the Vale of Rheidol Railway until November the 2nd.
Looks great, doesn't it? And finally, some sad news tonight. The Anglesey-born actor Tony Adams has died at the age of 84. He was familiar to millions of viewers in the 1970s and the 80s as Adam Chance in the long-running ITV soap Crossroads. He also made appearances in Doctor Who and on the West End stage in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Right, let's get the weather forecast. Derek is here. Good evening. How's it looking?
Well, in a word, changeable this week, Nick. Some sunshine, yes, but also spells of rain with stronger winds on Thursday. Back to today now, and it was quite nice in Cardiff Bay, at least for a while. Dry with bright skies and some sunshine, bit of a cool breeze. Not so nice, though, further west. Cloud increasing with some drizzle in Saundersfoot this afternoon. And temperatures today were certainly higher than last Saturday, close to 16 Celsius in Cardiff this afternoon, 12 degrees in Llanfairfechan on the north coast. This evening, patchy outbreaks of light rain and drizzle will clear, and then some showers will spread southeastwards overnight, 1 or 2 of these on the heavy side. The wind picking up with a drier and clearer end to the night. Temperatures around 5 in the morning, 10 to 12 Celsius. And then tomorrow, a cold front will clear away into the continent with another cold front over Ireland, and that is heading our way. So weather-wise, tomorrow, during daylight hours at least, not too bad. Mainly dry, bright and breezy. You might catch the odd shower, but no more than that. We'll see some sunshine, more cloud in the south later in the afternoon, with some rain gathering over the Bristol Channel, and temperatures around the seasonal norm, 12 to 14 Celsius, with a west to southwesterly breeze. And then this evening, tomorrow evening, outbreaks of rain in the south will spread into mid-Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain likely, drier in the north, bar 1 or 2 showers. Then on Wednesday, outbreaks of rain in the south and southeast in the morning will clear. Then it will brighten up, some sunny spells and a few scattered showers. Temperatures around 10 to 13 Celsius. Again, a west to southwesterly breeze. Beyond that, things turn more unsettled during Thursday with this fairly deep area of low pressure moving north to the west of Ireland. So it's all change on Thursday, a dry start, but it won't last. Rain will spread northwards during the day, some heavy bursts of rain likely, accompanied by stronger winds, gale force winds around Irish Sea coasts, gusts around 50 miles per hour, and temperatures a little higher, 12 to 14 Celsius. And then for Friday, less windy, but still breezy with sunny intervals and showers, and some of the showers likely to be heavy and prolonged. Temperatures up to 14 Celsius in Aberystwyth and in Welshpool. That's 57 Fahrenheit. The outlook for the weekend remains unsettled. That means more rain and showers, often breezy, a few sunny intervals in the mix as well. So an unsettled start to November. I leave you with the summary. Changeable sums it up. Nick.
It does indeed. OK, Derek, thanks very much. Our main story again tonight. A 3-day clampdown targeting illegal migration through ports, roads and airports in the UK has led to 51 arrests and £20,000 being seized. Holyhead Port on Anglesey was included in the operation. The port there has seen more than 220 immigration cases so far this year.
If you are an organised crime group, where are you going to conduct your activity? You're going to go to an area where people don't associate it with organised immigration crime. But fundamentally, Holyhead is a seaport. It's a link to Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland and the European Union. So because it's quiet, that's exactly where you'd commit your crime.
That's what it's today. Thanks for watching tonight. I'll be back after the 10 o'clock news. Hoping you can join me then. Till then, have a good evening.